Hey everyone, Prince Artemis here, and today I am going to be talking about basically my junior high and high school science teacher. Well, one of my science. It was my favorite science class. I'm only going to name drop the teacher because he was pretty chill. I don't think he teaches math. He doesn't teach science anymore, but he was a great science teacher. It's Mr. Lane. I think he only teaches, like, English or reading or something now. But, yeah, Mr. Lane was, like, one of the best teachers I've ever had. I personally recommend him if you can get him for any class. He is so chill and awesome and down to earth. He is really cool. Yeah, but all of those years when I was in his class, he was, like, one of the chillest teachers ever. I got along with him just fine. Yeah, but the things inside of his class that went on were kind of weird. Not towards him. No, he was always really cool. It's just like some of the kids that just get bunched up in his classes almost always are just bad mixes. The first year we were in there, you know, you had a whole bunch of the meathead jocks in one corner, a bunch of the emo lesbians in the other corner, and in the middle you get the teenager that gets super pregnant all the time, and then you get Mr. Blonde Oompa Loompa, who's always backwards in his chair talking to the chick that gets pregnant. Yeah, we're gonna call him Blonde Mr. Oompa Loompa because he actually knows my phone number and he makes physical threats towards me, so we're not gonna divulge in names. But you know who you are, Mr. Blonde Oompa Loompa, you short little shit. Anyway, now, in Mr. Lane's class, one of my favorite things we did were projects and listening to him present notes, mainly because I was just on my phone the whole time and I took pictures whenever a new slide would come up. You know, and sometimes when he's talking, he'd actually attempt to make it interesting, which was really cool. And, you know, he could make almost any topic super interesting to almost anyone who was willing to pay attention. Except for the lesbians in the back. I shit you not, one time I turned around and this Native American, blackish Native American lesbian was making out with this flat-faced, fat, white lesbian. And they were just making out in the middle of class, like, not like that, but like that. And I look over. They don't see me. I'm just like, oh my god. And I try and get everyone else's attention, or really just a couple other people's attention, look, and they're like, oh my god. I don't even think they realized I saw them, and dang, that was just why would you make out in science class while the teacher's like at the front of the room? All he would have to do is look in that direction and he'll see you. Jeez. And speaking of that fat white lesbian, what was her name? Caitlin Fowler, yeah, Caitlin Flower, whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in our senior year, 2019, she was expelled, I think? Maybe just suspended for the rest of the year? I'm not sure on that, but she had like a BB gun in her truck, and they thought it was a real gun, and when they went out to, you know, go and get it, they actually found a real pistol under her seat, so I don't know what happened there, but man, she's gone, and I don't know what happened to her, but that's besides the point. Now, other things that would happen in this science class is Mr. Oompa Loompa. Can't say his name, but he knows who he is, and I know you're probably listening to this, you freaking Oompa Loompa piece of shit. Yeah, you know who you are. Anyway, he would literally always be turned 180 degrees around in his desk with like his knees in the seat bent over talking to the person behind him. And what we liked to do was call him out on it, and then sometimes even Mr. Lane would get on it, and like he'd be like, Oompa Loompa, sit down. I'm not going to say his name even if it's Mr. Lane. And he's like, Oompa Loompa, sit down. And he'd get mad at anyone who tried and called him out. And one time when I did it, he's like, I know where you sleep. And even Mr. Lane was like, whoa, that's not something you should say around a teacher. Yeah, that happened. Just looking back on it, that was just so cringy. Yeah, and then whenever you do something to piss him off, he'd give you he'd just give you death glares like for the entire class period. He's just like, yeah, he'd try and breathe heavy and give you a death glare, but the thing is, he's like a foot shorter than everyone else, so he just looks up at you and does it, so you can't really take him seriously. It's just great. The guy got his head blown off. Anyway. Oh boy, man, that science class though, that was a pretty good science class. I got to play my 3DS and phone most of the class though, but it was great. You know, and then you had other classes Mr. Lane would tell us about. You had, you know, Caleb Foster and how Mr. Lane was paranoid that psychotic little shit would like kill the hamster because you know that little fucker. A contact of mine said he invited Caleb Foster to his house, and Caleb Foster, like, put Q-tips in the light socket in his bathroom right above his grandmother's perfume, and if that caught fire, it could have burned down his house. How crazy does that sound? Yeah, well, I would believe it, because Caleb Foster can be kind of, you know? Yep. I think I remember this one time Mr. Oompa Loompa got sent out of Mr. Lane's room, and that's hard to do because he's like just such a good teacher. Why would you ever want to start shit with him? But he like got sent out because he was talking back and wouldn't stop being turned around in his desk talking to the pregnant chick. We'll get to her in another video. But like Mr. Oompa Loompa would be turned around 180 degrees in his desk and go not like that, but he'd talk non-stop and it was annoying as hell. It really was, and I don't think he had a cap for how much he could talk. But I think this was like Mr. Lane's physical science class, but it was really great, you know? I actually learned quite a bit, and oh, Jesus Christ. I guess now, okay, if any of you know who Bradley Wicker is, he's actually pretty funny. And I swear, one time in Mr. Lane's class, he raised his hand and said, Mr. Lane, I gotta use the bathroom. And Mr. Lane's just like, alright, Bradley, go and use the bathroom. And as he's getting up to get the hall pass, he just looks back at everyone and says, I got the Hershey squirts. I got the Hershey squirts. And he like waddles out of the class. That was like the one time I thought Mr. Lane was gonna just, fall over and die of laughter. That was just the most freaking random thing to say. Yeah. Hey, listen, if any of you that I mention in the video have a problem with me name dropping you, don't be like Mr. Oompa Loompa glasses short boy and threaten me. Just tell me in the comments and I can work something out with you guys. Don't act violent and threaten physical violence like a certain little Oompa Loompa did. Yeah, he's a short little shit and he should be treated as such. Anyway, for my next video, I am either going to do an updated GameCube collection video, or I'm going to do another video like this talking about one of the biggest hidden assholes in Pocahontas High School. He's been out for quite a while, but he was kind of a big jerk, and no one really knew how big of a jerk he actually was. Let's just... No, wait, no, I'm not going to tell you here. I'm actually just going to save it, because it is a story that asshole put me through, and he was like 6 grades above me, so really no excuse, right? Yeah, well... Before the video ends, I'm trying to remember anything funny anything else funny that happened in Mr. Lane's. Oh, there was this one time this retarded kid fell backwards into a whole bunch of desks. I didn't like him because he used to stab the back of my neck with a pencil. So, haha, he fell back into a couple desks. Yeah, he was kind of mentally disabled, but not to the point where he couldn't function, just to where he was like, I'm gonna stab you. Oh, well, into the video, bye!